Good morning, seventh graders. I'm going to try to do this in one take and quickly, so please turn your voices off and listen. I have two things to talk about today. First was the issue in lunch yesterday. We've just been having too many instances or times where people are touching one another when they shouldn't be, and that's touching, slapping, hitting, and a lot of the times it starts out playful and we're just messing around, we're friends, but all it takes is one person having a bad day or one person taking it too far, and then all of a sudden you have a huge issue like we did yesterday. So that needs to stop. I know it's hard at your development level, like that's how you interact with each other. Um, but it just leads to bigger issues like it did yesterday. And which leads me to my second point of I know the natural instinct is to, oh my gosh, there's something happening over there, I want to go see. Um, and and part of the reason we have our cell phone policy is to avoid situations where people are taking out their phones and recording things and making a spectacle out of issues, as we saw at the high school last week. Um, One of your classmates brought it to my attention. She I think, put it really well. Imagine if you were a person who was getting hit or getting picked on or getting pushed, and someone had the chance. What would you want someone else to do? Would you want them to step in and tell somebody to stop or at least help you? Or would you want them to sit there and video you and then spread that around? Empathy is something that we don't always work on at the best. If you don't know, empathy just means kind of feeling the way that other people might feel, putting yourself in their position. And I think that's something that's really lost on us sometimes, and I'm trying to demonstrate that any way that I can by feeling the way that you might feel and thinking about things the way that you might think. So I encourage you to keep thinking that way. Moving forward, we are going to do our best to have consequences for people that decide that they would rather get their phone out and video something rather than getting help. Or I'm not asking people to step in and stop things, but I am asking you to try to get help rather than videoing something that's going on. Okay, that's my first issue. Second one is about lunch, and this one I also want to kind of demonstrate some skills that hopefully we can all get better at. I try to be really reflective. Reflective means that, like, I think about what I do and decisions that I make, and try to think from other people's perspectives. Empathize with them. And I've talked with a number of seventh graders and seventh grade families about our situation at lunch right now. And I don't think I've done a good job of explaining why we have some of the certain rules that we do. So I'm going to go through that real quickly. We're at 3.5 minutes. I want to be done by 6 minutes. So we ask you to be in your seats. Sit where you're supposed to sit and not get up and move all around. One of the reasons why is because, and this might be backwards, I'll see if I can flip the video. One of the reasons why is because most of the time when we're up talking to other people, it's because we're gossiping about our classmates or other people. And gossiping is not friendship. You all have talked to me a lot about wanting to be able to sit with your friends and socialize. Part of that is sitting in your seats and not getting up and talking about other people. And so that's why we ask you to be in your seats, along with, the more people we have sitting down, the safer it is. We ask you to have your voices at level 2. And actually, you do a pretty good job at this, so I appreciate that. When voices are down, other people can hear what's going on. They can hear their own conversations. When we start talking louder, it forces other people to talk louder, and then next thing you know, we have everybody talking really loud. And that's, number one, it's just too loud for a school building. Number two, we have people that are really sensitive to some loud noises, and that's not good for them. And then number three, it makes it even more difficult for us to turn our voices off when we need to, when we have things to say or messages to share, passes to hand out. When voices are off, it allows us to be safe and to be able to listen in case something serious is going on. Last one is picking up after ourselves. And I think this is self-explanatory, but when we make a mess, we're responsible for cleaning it up. And what I really want you to take away from this is have some pride in your school. Have some pride that you go to Ames Middle School and are going to go to Ames High School, and this is the town you live in and the school that you have, and you want it to be nice. This is a beautiful building, much nicer than some buildings that I've worked in before, and we want to keep it that way. And so that's part of the reason why it's really important to clean up after yourself. So after a lot of debate, and I've really wrestled with this, and I might be making a bad decision, to be completely honest, and I'm sure there's people that are going to disagree with me, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to allow you to pick your seats today at lunch. You're going to write your name down on the seating chart, and there's only 8 people at every table. What we're going to do today is allow you to sit in those seats. Then what I'm going to do over the weekend is I'm going to take your tables, so there's 53 of them, and I'm going to rearrange them. So you're still going to be with your 7 other people that you sit with, but you most likely will not be around other people that maybe you sat in a group with. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to sit with some people that you want to sit with, but we're not going to have 4 or 5 tables that all want to be close to each other, because that leads to bigger issues. So I'm going to give you a little bit of choice, but also be able to move people into where I want them to be. And then moving forward, if we have tables that cannot handle that, or tables that or individuals that are just not able to follow those directions, then I'll be having family meetings with those people, and we'll come up with a different situation for us to have for lunch. Okay, 7 minutes, a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I appreciate your attention.